Hey, hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Angel. If you don't know me, welcome back. If you're here again, I love you. Thank you. Today, I wanted to do a bit of a maybe November TBR. I wanted to pop in really quick. You're going to see me again in a completely different outfit momentarily, but November is Native American Heritage Month, and that means that I did want to read a lot of books written by Indigenous authors. I will leave some links and resources down below where you can look into the Indigathon as well as some Indigenous creators here on BookTube. And I really think that you should do some research and look into supporting creators, supporting these causes. And on with the video. I really want to read Boys Run the Riot Volume 1 by Keito Kaku. And this is about a trans boy who wants to, I believe, own or run a fashion line, and it's dealing with his identity and coming out, I believe, as well as just like existing in what can sometimes be a really female forward industry. I also have a nonfiction book here. If you're familiar with the channel or me, you know I don't read a lot of nonfiction, but this is Dead Mountain, the untold true story of the Dyatlov Pass incident by Donnie Eichar. This is a nonfiction book looking through the most likely turn of events that happened in the Dyatlov Pass incident. In 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers in the Russian mountains died mysteriously on an elevation known as Dead Mountain. Eerie aspects of the incident, including unexplained injuries, signs the hikers cut open and fled their tents without proper clothing, a strange final photograph taken by one of them, and radiation readings have led to decades of speculation over what really happened. There are quite a lot of speculative movies about this, and I wanted to read more of a nonfiction take on it because it is kind of thrillery. It's very weird. It's a really unexplainable, unexplained incident. Hummingbird Salamander, and this is, I believe, more of an eco-thriller, eco-horror. The security consultant Jane Smith receives an envelope with a key to a storage unit that holds a taxidermied hummingbird and clues leading her to a taxidermied salamander. Sylvina, the dead woman who left the note, was a reputed eco-terrorist and the daughter of an Argentine industrialist. By taking the hummingbird from the storage unit, Jane sets in motion a series of events that quickly spirals beyond her control. Soon her and her family are in danger with few allies to help her make sense of the peril. It seems a lot like Next by Michael Crichton, and I am just really intrigued because Annihilation was one of my favorite books, even though a lot of people didn't really enjoy it very much. It was a very interesting, weird, creepy science horror book that I really loved, and so I'm hoping this takes like more of an eco-thriller, eco-horror route as well, because I think the pacing in that book was just amazing. I'm also going to be buddy reading something this month, and that is Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. This is a book that I've tried to pick up a few times, but I really haven't put a lot of effort into. I'm going to be buddy reading this with my darling Michelle, and this is about a woman who has a child and shortly after starts to think they're becoming a werewolf. I think it actually is happening. She's starting to grow like these patches of hair and weird things are just happening. She starts to sense things, have a better weird taste of smell, taste for meat, that kind of thing. Also just the cover and the title, very captivating. So when I heard this came out, I really wanted to get it a few months ago. And then I'm still playing catch up with my Patreon buddy read, but this is A Touch of Jen. I started this in October because it was supposed to be our Patreon pick, one of 2, and I'm only about 40 pages in, which I got done on a reading sprint if you were on the sprints last month. And I'm enjoying it fine, but the perspective is very strange and I'm not 100% devoted to the narration style yet, so I'm gonna try to finish it. Probably gonna give it like maybe another 100 pages or so, and we'll see where I go from there. This is about a couple. One of them used to work with this girl named Jen, and they both became really obsessed with her Instagram and seeing what she does, where she goes, and speculating things about it, as well as like almost incorporating it into their relationship. So one of them is like, what if I dressed up like Jen? Would you be into that? And one day they're going to meet her, and it takes a weird spiral, which I'm assuming, this is supposed to be horror, so I'm assuming that's where the horror aspect comes into play. Obviously a newer release, which is My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. This came out pretty recently, and this is another buddy read pick for my Patreon. This is going to be our November pick. I've read quite a few Stephen Graham Jones at this point. I'm definitely not an expert or anything, but I've come to understand how his writing works, and so I think I'm really well equipped to finally understand. This is another Final Girl-esque thriller slasher type of book. So it says, you won't find a more hardcore 80s slasher film fan than Jade Daniels, and you won't find a place less supportive of girls who wore torn t-shirts and too much eyeliner, nestled 8,000 feet up a mountain in Idaho alongside Indian Lake. home to both Camp Blood, site of a massacre 50 years ago, and as of this summer, Terra Nova, a second home, celebrity Camelot, being carved out of a national forest. It's not the only thing that's getting carved up though. This Jade knows is the start of a slasher. But what kind? Who wears the mask? I know that I've been having terrible luck with final girl thrillers and horror books, but now that I am finally reading one by an author, I understand their writing style more. I'm hoping I enjoy this one quite a lot. I got this last year as well. I have the Book of the Month edition. This is The Removed by Brandon Hobson. In the 15 years since their teenage son Ray Ray was killed in a police shooting, the Ikoda family has been suspended in private grief. The mother increasingly struggles to manage the onset of Alzheimer's in her husband. Their adult daughter leads a life of solitude, punctuated only by spells of dizzying romantic obsession. And the remaining son fled home long ago, returning to drugs to meet his feelings of alienation. With the family's annual bonfire approaching, Maria attempts to call the family together from their physical and emotional distances once more. But as the bonfire draws near, each of them feels a strange blurring of the boundary between normal life and the spirit world. And then one I think I got for my birthday last year, and that I definitely haven't heard anybody talk about, and this is Wrist. I'd actually found this last year on a list of indigenous authors and recommending horror books specifically. And this is Wrist by Nathan Negan Noodlin Adler. And I love this cover. If you can't tell, we have dinosaur bones. It says, in 1872, dinosaur hunters become embroiled in a battle over the discovery of fossils in northern Ontario as their excavation crews are driven mad by bizarre and terrifying illness. Over 100 years later, Church and his family show signs of the same monstrous affliction, and he begins to unravel his family's dark history. But Church also must race to protect their secrets buried deep in bones and blood. I'm really excited because dinosaurs, hell yeah. Another one by an author that I have read in the past, and I love the other two books that I've read by them. This is Amped by Daniel H. Wilson, and Daniel H. Wilson wrote the Robocalypse series as well as the sequel to the Andromeda strain, which is called the Andromeda Evolution. That book is by my favorite author, Michael Crichton, and so I already really enjoy Daniel H. Wilson's writing style. This one, it says it is a stunning world where superhuman technology and humanity clash in surprising and thrilling ways. It's in the near future, and scientists have developed implants that treat brain dysfunction and also make recipients capable of superhuman feats. Exploiting societal fears of the newly enhanced, politicians pass a set of laws to restrict the rights of amplified humans, instantly creating a new persecuted underclass known as amps. On the day that the Supreme Court confirms the first of these laws, 29-year-old schoolteacher Owen Gray is forced into hiding, only dimly aware of the latent powers he possesses. To escape imprisonment and to find out who he really is, he must seek out a community in Oklahoma where it's rumored a group of the most enhanced amps may be about to change the world. There is another book that I had started last month that I want to finish this month, and that is Ace of Spades, and I already started it. I'm about 10% in. I'm really enjoying it as an audiobook so far, and it's more or less like Gossip Girl. There are these high school students, and they choose prefects for every grade, and the main characters are one girl who has been named prefect every year and is officially the senior head prefect. And then the other main character is gay, and he is, I don't know if he's really an outcast, but he's definitely not used to having people see him. And he randomly gets chosen as one of the senior prefects, even though it's, again, very much a popularity contest. I'm excited to see where it goes, because there's been an inciting incident already where a picture of someone gets leaked, and it's in a very compromising situation. It seems very like a TV show a little bit. Not cheesy, but I can see it as it's going, and I'm really enjoying that so far. So those are the books I would really love to read this month. As we know in the past, hopefully I'll have a wrap up, but also hopefully I will read the majority of these books, because when you get to see my October wrap up, it's gonna be kind of sad. All right, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've heard of any of these books or if you've read them. And if you made it this far in the video, leave me a book emoji or a smiley face if you don't have access to emojis. And I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Baby, something about you makes me feel like crazy, dumb and lazy about you. Makes me check out on my phone.